For months, as Russian forces have gathered at Ukraine's borders, officials here have been preparing for a different threat, an attack on Ukraine's energy supply. This is Inna Sovsun, a member of Ukraine's parliament who's been warning that Ukraine's dependence on Russia and Belarus for power supplies leaves the country in a vulnerable position.
Putin is using any sort of leverage he can get, and energy is a big part of the leverage. Ukraine is still very much economically connected to Russia. We are still buying coal from Russia. We are still buying some materials for our nuclear power stations from Russia. We are still reliant upon Russian gas. We cannot be safe until we disconnect from Russia, because anything you buy from them, they will use it against you anytime.
On February 24th, Ukraine and Moldova will initiate an isolation test, during which both countries will disconnect from all foreign energy sources, particularly electricity lines from Russia and Belarus. Without them, Ukraine will rely solely on its own reserves of gas, coal, and nuclear power to supply electricity to the entire grid. Each of its nuclear power plants have been running at 100% capacity since January 30th to make up for the energy deficit. The goal is to demonstrate energy independence for 3 full days without any shutdowns. If this test is successful, they'll repeat it in the summer, and Ukraine will formally connect its power grid to the European Union next year.
Це Рубікон оцього перерізання пуповини, яка тримає нас за оцю з пострадянським минулим, так? Його не можна переоцінити для нас, насправді. Я вважаю, що росіяни зі свого боку зроблять все для того, щоб наша євроінтеграція не відбулася.
Viktor Kortev spent years working for Ukraine's state-run energy company, Ukrenergo, and says the country needed more time to prepare.
Але насправді в жовтень ми ввійшли з дуже низькими запасами вугілля для теплових електростанцій, газу в газотранспортній системі і так далі. Енергосистема взагалі і наші теплові електростанції не зовсім готові, але в нас немає вибору, ми повинні на це йти.
Integration with Europe would be a major blow to Russia and Belarus, both financially and strategically, and a meaningful step towards confirming Ukraine as a viable EU member state, which is why it would be in Russia's interest if the test failed. One scenario is that Russia could block Ukraine from reconnecting to its power supply. There's another scenario, one that has played out in previous years, a cyber attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. A pair of massive attacks in 2015 and 2017 affected banks, hospitals, and caused widespread blackouts. And just last week, Ukraine reported the largest denial of service attack in the country's history. And experts warn the grid could be next.
Power plants like this one are constantly under cyber attacks. And moreover, the adversaries actually attack even more often the power grids. So-called transmission and distribution companies. Russia has this holistic approach to hybrid warfare. They combine conventional military operations with electronic warfare, with cyber and informational operations, and computer network operations, or cyber attacks as we call them. The goal is not just to disrupt operation of that specific power grid or power plant. The goal is to create significant material damage, to cause panic, to convey a message that the government is not in control. The people know that Russia always starts cyber attacks very often together with military operations. You have to expect the attack every day, you have to assume you're compromised. And that's the new world we're living.